Did China really steal Airbus technology to build its C919 jet? Photos leaked online show eerie similarities between China's C-19 and the Airbus A320. From cockpit design to wing structure, the resemblance is more than just coincidence. Or is it? As Beijing celebrates its aviation breakthrough, critics are calling it a high-flying copycat scandal. In this video, we uncover the truth behind the C919. Is it innovation or imitation? The Comac C919 is China's answer to the Boeing 737 and Airbus A320, a narrow-body, twin-engine jetliner developed to reduce China's dependency on Western aircraft. First launched in 2008, it took nearly 15 years to reach commercial certification. The C919 is built by the Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China, or Comac, a state-owned aerospace company backed heavily by the Chinese government. The goal? To build a domestically produced aircraft that could compete on the world stage and break the Western aviation duopoly. But from its inception, critics raised eyebrows. Many noticed that the C919 looked suspiciously familiar, not just in shape, but in technical specifications, cockpit layout, and even the configuration of its fuselage and wings. The comparisons with the Airbus A320 became unavoidable. Still, China marketed the C919 as a homegrown innovation. The first commercial flight in 2023, operated by China Eastern Airlines, was hailed as a patriotic achievement. Yet behind the celebratory headlines, industry experts began asking, was this really a technological leap forward, or just a recycled version of someone else's design? The Airbus A320 is one of the most successful aircraft in aviation history. Since its launch in 1987, over 10,000 A320 family aircraft have been delivered worldwide. It's the go-to model for short to medium-haul flights, efficient, reliable, and widely used by airlines from American Airlines to Lufthansa. So when the C919 appeared with near-identical features, from nose shape to wing dimensions, fuselage diameter to landing gear placement, aviation engineers took notice. Independent analysts, including former Airbus engineers, began publicly stating that the C919 was not just inspired by the A320. It looked copied. In fact, a side-by-side comparison shows striking overlaps. Both have the same 3.96-meter fuselage width, allowing 6 seats across in economy. The cockpit instrumentation layout is almost identical. Wing structure and engine mounting positions are virtually the same. Even cabin window spacing follows the same pattern. This similarity isn't just cosmetic. It affects maintenance compatibility, parts sourcing, and even how pilots are trained. Airbus has remained mostly silent, but some in the industry believe it's because the evidence might open the door to geopolitical tensions rather than just a legal patent dispute. The question many are asking is, how did Comac get access to such detailed aerospace knowledge so quickly? One possible answer lies in a quiet but aggressive talent acquisition campaign launched by China during the mid-2000s. Around that time, several ex-Airbus engineers and consultants with access to proprietary A320 systems were approached with lucrative offers to work with Comac and its subcontractors. In 2014, German prosecutors investigated a case where a Chinese aviation firm reportedly obtained sensitive Airbus documents through an intermediary in Europe. While charges were never formally filed, the case highlighted the murky space between industrial espionage and legitimate hiring. According to internal Airbus sources cited in French investigative reports, at least 6 former Airbus engineers worked indirectly on the C919 program. Most were not officially hired by Comac, but subcontracted through academic partnerships or third-party tech firms. These experts helped design avionics, cockpit systems, and weight distribution models that eerily mirror those used in the A320. And here's the kicker. Several of these engineers returned to Europe after their work in China, and were reportedly paid 10 times their original salaries. At the heart of the controversy surrounding the Comac C919 is a legal and philosophical gray area. What counts as innovation, and what crosses the line into theft? In a globalized world, knowledge transfer is common. Engineers move between companies. Designs inspire other designs. But the scale and precision with which the C919 mirrors the Airbus A320, from external dimensions to cockpit configuration to material composition, has alarmed many aviation experts. A 2023 report by the European Union Intellectual Property Office, EUIPO, raised red flags about China's aerospace sector, citing it as a high-risk area for foreign intellectual property leakage. One section specifically mentioned the Comac C919, calling it structurally and aerodynamically aligned with the A320 beyond industry norms. But despite these concerns, no international legal action has yet been taken. Why? Because legally, proving design theft, especially in aerospace, is incredibly difficult. Companies can reverse engineer designs, alter small elements, and claim independent development if there's no smoking gun like leaked internal files or whistleblowers. Airbus itself has remained largely silent, possibly due to strategic reasons. After all, the Chinese aviation market is massive, and Airbus has major business interests in China, including a final assembly plant in Tianjin. Going after Comac legally could jeopardize billions in future contracts. The rise of the C919 has triggered strong reactions around the world, from cautious optimism to outright suspicion. In the United States, aerospace analysts and former Boeing executives have been blunt. If the C919 takes market share from Boeing or Airbus, it won't be because it's better, but because it had help. The kind of help that borders on economic espionage, said a former Boeing VP in a 2024 interview with CNBC. The U.S. Trade Representative's Office released a memo in late 2024 warning that China's civil aviation development strategy relies heavily on forced technology transfers and intellectual property manipulation. In Europe, sentiment is mixed. On one hand, some European aviation officials see Comac as a welcome competitor that might force Airbus and Boeing to innovate faster and lower costs. But others are more skeptical. A 2025 editorial in Le Monde posed the question directly: is the C919 a product of Chinese ingenuity or Western blueprints repackaged? Countries in Southeast Asia and Africa, where infrastructure projects often rely on Chinese financing, are more open to the C919. Several governments have already placed pre-orders, often as part of larger bilateral deals with Beijing. The aircraft is being marketed as affordable, reliable, and politically non-aligned. However, global aviation watchdogs, including the International Air Transport Association, IATA, have expressed concern over certification transparency. Comac's certification process with China's own Civil Aviation Administration is considered less rigorous than that of the FAA or EASA. This raises red flags for airlines that operate internationally, especially in regions with strict aviation standards. The difference is China's scale, state backing, and willingness to blur ethical lines when it serves national interest. This is what alarms the West, not just the C919, but what it represents: a technologically ambitious China, ready to go head-to-head with the West, not just in aviation, but in AI, semiconductors, space, and biotech. So, did China steal Airbus tech? Probably to some extent. But the bigger story is this: the world now has a third major player in the skies, and it's not going away.
As China's C919 prepares to soar beyond its borders, the global aviation map is being redrawn. This isn't just about airplanes, it's about influence, independence, and the fight for technological dominance in the 21st century. Will the C919 truly rival the A320 and Boeing 737? Or will it remain a regional player propped up by state subsidies? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: China has entered the race, and the rest of the world is now forced to reckon with that reality. So what do you think? Backhand index pointing right, is the C919 a legitimate rival or a flying forgery? Backhand index pointing right, will it ever win over international airlines? Backhand index pointing right, and should Western nations rethink their tech transfer strategies with China? Let us know in the comments below. We read every one. If you found this deep dive insightful, don't forget to white heavy check mark, like the video, white heavy check mark, subscribe to China Panorama, white heavy check mark, hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation. Thanks for watching. And until next time, keep your eyes on the skies, because the future of flight just got more complicated.